way for us to walk all the way to all the way to that gas station. I can remember me and Joseph and a girl named Terry that lived there beside, across the street from Joseph, us walking over there and buying snacks at like 7, 8, 9 years old.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's and yeah, I wouldn't. Some of the stuff our parents let us do, I wouldn't. There's no way I'd let my kids do right now.
Right.
Just the thought of it is just.
Well, and I don't necessarily know that like they did anything wrong. I
of course not.
Changed.
The world's completely different. No, they didn't do anything wrong. Nothing wrong at all. But that's just the way it is. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you episode 50. You ready to get started?
I mean, we can go ahead. Why not?
Let's do it. All right, here we go.
Play button on the opening song.
Here it goes. Welcome one, welcome all. Dad's watching sports. Michael Draper and Kyle Castles. How are you? It is Sunday, January 31st. The month of January finally over with. Seems like it's been going on for a year, and I feel like we've been saying that about every month for the past year. January 31st, 2021. This is Dad's watching sports. Kyle, it is episode 50.
That's insane.
It is insane. I can't believe it. Next week, we're going to talk a lot about this towards the end of the show, but next week is our 1-year anniversary of Dad's Watching Sports. Episode 50. We've had a lot of fun over the past 49 episodes, and I don't anticipate that this one will be any less fun.
No, we're just getting started, man. This thing is just now getting rolling.
As the best football coach in the Southeastern Conference, Mark Stoops, would say, we're just getting started, bro. That's what we're doing here on that.
You know what's really picking us up? The Off the Ball Network. You can't say enough about them, man.
You can't. Appreciate those guys, Chris, all the guys over at Off the Ball Network. They do a great job with their shows. They allow us to have our show on the network, and that has taken Dad's Watching Sports, in the words of Justin Smedley, to the moon. All right, so we're broadcasting live on our Facebook page, Off the Ball Network Facebook page. If you're checking out the podcast, thank you so much for downloading each and every week. We still got our guy over in Ireland that is downloading each and every week. It's our man. We appreciate it. We had a download the other day, Kyle, from the motherland of Russia. Putin coming back. Listen to
look. We got a guy in Ireland. We got a guy in Russia. We need to get the address to the lake house that you're at right now, so we can get some Irish whiskey and some vodka, because we got a reunion of friends happening in a few weeks.
That we do. We'll get to that maybe next week. About that. But if you're checking out the podcast, thanks so much for doing that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Also, give us a review and a rating, 5-star ratings, 5-star, 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 and we would love to get a review, even if it's. Kyle doesn't know what he's talking about, even though he played college football. We still want to get a review, and we would very much appreciate that. All those ways you can check us out on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Obviously, if you're watching this live stream on our Facebook page, you know we have Facebook. All right, Kyle. We were talking about this before the show, a little bit that picked up on our live feed about how things have just changed so much in the past 20 or so years from when we were kids, and how I was talking about, I'm coming up on 20 years from my high school reunion, which is just blows my mind. Yeah. And that brings up the topic, man, of adulting and all the fun or not fun stuff that comes with adulting. We came up to the lake house this weekend. You text me on our way up here, saying that you had some fun with your truck over the weekend, involved some adulting. So please share with us all the fun stuff that you had to do over the weekend.
Yeah, so I usually take my truck when I get an oil change to like Jiffy Lube, right? And I've asked them for what feels like the better part of a year and a half, like, hey, check my brakes. Just something doesn't feel right. And every time, like, oh man, they're good. Don't worry about it. They're fine. This time I took my truck to the dealership to get the oil changed. Because the oil that Jiffy Lube's been putting in, my truck's just been burning, and then I run out of oil. Within about 1,500, 2,000 miles. And I was like, screw it. I'm not going back there. I'm going to go to the dealership because they figured out that, and when they put the oil in, it doesn't burn up. So I knew they knew what they were doing. And so I get there, and I tell them, like, look, there's some sort of, like, squeal going on. I think maybe I got a belt getting ready to go out. Just check on that. The guy comes in and gets me. He's like, hey, man, it's not a belt. Your water pump's actually falling apart.
Nice.
Because I know that's going to
sit a cheap repair.
No, I know that's going to sit somewhere between like $500 and $750 to fix. And I'm like, man, this is not good. But whatever, like, you got to fix it because I don't want to have that thing, break apart while I'm driving down the road. And I mean, he showed me like that sucker was falling apart. Right. I mean, my truck's got over 150,000 miles on it. Like, it's starting to get to the point where there's going to be some repairs.
Yeah.
But, I'm thinking, okay, that's it. That's fine. Fix the water pump, oil change, tire rotation. I'm out of there. Well, they take my tires off and they say, hey, man, you need to come look at the brakes here.
Oh, no.
And my front inside pads are basically gone. There's basically nothing there. The rotors had a lip that was, on the driver's side, I bet you it was almost a 1/2-inch lip where it's just been metal on metal wearing it down. And
when you put on your brakes, was it not just like sounded like two?
No, there was no sound.
Together?
No sound at all. Because like there were times where I would go like, there's got to be something going on. I'd roll my windows down and listen, and it's silent. So I'm like, well, maybe they're telling me the truth. Maybe there is nothing going on. Well, there was something going on.
They lied.
Why? Like, make your money.
Yeah. There's no kidding. I mean? Yeah, seriously. They would have made a lot.
All told, it was like 1506 with some change to take care of all the repairs. But man, my trucks are running like a top now.
Absolutely, it is, and it should be. We had a similar situation where we're literally walking out the door to come up here, and we had put some clothes in the washer that morning. I was going to switch them over to the driver before we left, and I went in there and looked, and the washer had been making kind of a funny noise, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. And I go in and open it up, and the clothes are in like sopping in water. Like there's still water in the washer, and I'm like, okay, something's not right here. So close it, turn the little knob, pull the knob, and it just starts making like a little humming, buzzing noise. I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So in order for us to leave, we had to like wring out all the clothes. That had to like hang them up on clothes hangers and all that stuff. And I'm going to deal with it when we get home. But again, man, it's just one of those things that like right when you're about to walk out the door, the washer goes out, or right when you're going to just get an oil change, you've got $1,500 worth of stuff, man. And if that's not adulting at its highest point, I don't know what is. And so I was thinking, yesterday as we were driving up here about some topics for the show, and like, what are those things kind of like that? What are those things that you just hate to do as an adult that you didn't have to worry about it as a kid or didn't have to deal with? So your top 5 least favorite adult things to do, Kyle.
You want me to go 5 to 1?
Sure.
All right. So, okay, this sounds bad, and I don't mean it bad, but I'll just be honest. I don't really enjoy chauffeuring the kids everywhere. Like at school, going to
especially when they're like screaming in the background, or hey, I need this, or hey, he's
yeah. And if we're in Lauren's van and we got the screen and then we can put the movie on, like they can put their little headphones on, like that's one thing. But in my truck where they have nothing to do, and look, when you have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old boy, all they want to do is mess with each other. And it's just, it's constant. I love my kids. I don't mean that bad. but I just don't enjoy driving them around.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Number 4, I love to mow, I love to weed eat, that kind of stuff, but the landscaping.
Oh man,
I know you love that crap. I can't.
I do, man. I do.
I need to just pay you to come do it.
So I've got to ask you. I'll say about a year ago, you and I. It was a year ago. It's
not done. In fact, I got to dig up some of the plants we put down because they're dead. Like
that was at least in April of last year because we
it was
our mask in Home Depot.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you if you ever finished that.
No. Right. And like I said, I got to dig up some of the plants this.
That's great.
Like late February, March. I'm gonna dig them up and put new stuff down, and
there we go.
Finish it up. But
hey man, one day you'll get that finished. That's all right.
I can't stand it. I really can't. I also, number 3, I can't stand getting the oil changed. It's an hour that I'm just sitting there, and I don't know how to do it. And there's too much crap, I could do it on an older vehicle, but these newer ones, like there's a ton of stuff, in the way that I don't have time, and I just, like I said, it's just an hour out of my day, unless of course I got to put a new water pump on, new rotors, and new brake pads. If I got to do all that, then it's like 2 hours out of my day that I just whatever. I can't stand number 2. I can't stand taking care of anything that breaks down. I mean, if it breaks down, I just want to throw it out, buy a new one because I don't feel like dealing with it. And then the number 1 thing that I hate doing, but I'm the one that does it. I hate cleaning bathrooms. I mean, can't stand cleaning the bathrooms, especially the toilets, and that's
it can be pretty gross, man. Pretty gross. A little story behind that about cleaning bathrooms. My brother. And my brother's older than I am, for those people listening. And when we were younger, teenagers, so he's 2.5 years older than I am. So this is probably like when he's like 16, 17. So I'm like 14 or 15. And we had a shared bathroom upstairs in our house. And
I can picture it. I've been there.
Yeah. And my brother we would alternate times on cleaning the bathroom. When it became his time, he would just refuse to clean it, and because he would know that it would eventually get so gross that I would be like, all right, screw it, Philip, I'm going to go ahead and do this and clean the bathroom. And it used to piss me off to no end because I'm like, dude, just clean the stinking bathroom. Like, this is disgusting.
Because you can't stand it.
Yeah, it's gross. And, we're both pretty hairy guys. And there's hair everywhere and there's piss everywhere. And, yeah, man, it's just – and he never would clean it. And, that's
Wait, can we say that on the show? Can we say piss?
Well, I did. So we'll see if somebody gives us a slap on the wrist for that. Okay, so my top 5 least favorite adult things to do. I've got number 5, and this actually came up today. Just dealing with any kind of like weird health related things with your kids. So I'm not going to go into too many details because one day this is going to be out somewhere, and I don't want my daughter to be so absolutely embarrassed. But let's just say there was a situation where your child mentioned that something was bothering them, and your mother-in-law, who used to run daycare, said, "Oh, well, I've seen that before, and their kids can have little tiny worms evolve from that, and they could spread." And so let's just say that at some point in time this evening, Mrs. Draper said the sentence, and I quote, "Well, I already checked for the worms, so you can do that." So let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it up to the imagination.
I don't want to know.
No, but that's a classic example of like, man, I just don't want to do anything revolving around like weird health related stuff with my kids. I'm like, man, just no.
Just be normal.
Just figure that out, son or daughter. Number 4, I'm kind of like with you, fixing car, anything that's like revolving around fixing a car, because I always feel like when I take my car in, they're going to come back and be like, all right, well, this is also wrong. This is also wrong. And I don't know enough about it. And I feel like, well, you're pressuring me, or are you really telling me the truth of that kind of stuff? So I can't stand that. Number 3, this has really developed in the past couple of years with 2 kids, folding laundry. It's kind of like doing the dishes and putting the dishes up, dude. Folding laundry sucks. Yeah. And you can go like 2 seconds and you've got piles everywhere. And it's not the dirty stuff. It's when it's clean and it needs to be folded and put away. That is the absolute worst.
And you know what? I don't even mind folding it. It's putting stuff on hangers that I can't stand.
Yeah. Well, and with kids, everything's so small, and so you get their little underwear or whatever, and it drives me insane. Number 2, we're getting close to the season, man. I hate doing my taxes. That's just something that you don't think about as a kid, and then that comes in, and we always have to pay, and so it's just I hate going through that and having to do it.
Lauren's got a financial guy that takes care of the business, and he also does our personal taxes. So I don't have
of course you do, because she's legal representation of Dad's Watching Sports, so she makes big bucks. She can afford the accountant, so that's it's good. And then number 1, you know me, I was always a sleep in kind of guy, and not being able to sleep in anymore with kids, man, it's the worst.
Hey, you know what? It gets better. So Hannah, the 1-year-old, she doesn't make a sound when she wakes up.
Yeah.
She usually just lays there until somebody comes and gets her.
Mm-hmm.
Wrigley and Jack, the 4 and 6-year-old, they played pretty good this morning. I slept till almost 10 this morning. Yeah.
What? I haven't slept since 10 till 10 o'clock since I can't even tell you. I mean, it had to have been at least probably 6-7 years ago.
No, just let them get a little bit older where they'll just play and be quiet.
That would be great. Hayden is pretty good about that. Like, he wakes up most of the time, he just kind of hangs out in his room, or he'll sit in his bed. Emma, she comes in our room like immediately. TJ Burns says, "Good evening, guys." TJ,
hey, TJ.
Sir, thanks for joining in. We got one more topic I wanted to get into, and then we'll go to a break, and we're going to be joined by Steve Rubio of the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to help us talk through the Super Bowl preview. Also, we've got Josh Heupel going to be the coach of Tennessee. Steven's a grad of UCF. He worked at Tennessee, so he's got a lot to say about that. TJ says, for me, it's using a weed eater. Every time I use one, it breaks. It never fails. I'll agree with that. I feel like I always run out of the weed eater string every time I use a weed eater. Kyle, really quickly, it was a crazy week in the stock markets. I know how invested you are, but you are an economics teacher, so I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been paying attention to it. We're not, super invested. We got some money in a mutual fund, and that's about it. But man, watching this AMC, GameStop, Nokia thing that's happening, and it's all based off this like Reddit thing, subreddit. There's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit weird what's going on, and you got, quite frankly, the people, the gatekeepers, the Robinhood app, and there was another app that kind of tried to shut it all down because look, at the end of the day, the way a lot of your hedge funds actually put money into the stock to assuming that things are going to go badly for companies.
Right.
And all of a sudden, like, these people are coming in and you're talking about, you could have gotten in at GameStop, 3 weeks ago, maybe around $15 a share. Now it's up to 300 or something. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not planning for that, these hedge fund managers. And they're losing millions, if not billions of dollars through this. Like, it's insane.
It's pretty wild. And it's been pretty amazing to see the little man, or the everyday man really try to stick it to the Wall Street guys. I don't know if that's going to work or not. At the end of the day, it's probably all going to balance out. But it's been pretty wild. It's for people that are highly invested in the stock market. I would imagine your blood pressure has been through the roof.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, at the end of the day, I saw the Dow was up over 30.
Yeah.
Look, we're seeing numbers we have never seen as far as the overall market. So I feel like there's money to be made.
There is absolutely. Well, that's exciting. All right, Kyle, we're going to go to a quick break, and we come back. Steve Rubio, 49ers scout, is going to join us to talk Super Bowl, UT, and much, much more. We will be right back after the break with some more Dads Watching Sports. Y'all stick with us. Big news in the Dads Watching Sports podcasting world. You've heard us mention it on the show already. We are now part of the Off the Ball Podcast Network. We're super excited to be joining the team of great shows, hopefully adding a little dad flavor to the mix. You can check out Off the Ball Podcast and Off the Ball Network on all your social media sites. Just search Off the Ball Network. And while you're there, give them a like and a follow. You won't regret it. Welcome back to Dad's Watching Sports. Michael Draper, Kyle Castles on the Off the Ball Network. Thanks to the guys at Off the Ball Network, not only providing some great content, but also allowing us to be a part of it. And we're going to see a lot of them coming up over the next month or so. We're going to do this thing. I've talked about it before. We're going to talk a little bit about at the end of the show, this fan stories and how you became a fan, or what drew you to being a fan of a team, or how have you passed along your fanhood. We're going to have a lot of the guys from Off the Ball Network join us as a part of that. So really looking forward to getting them on. Also, really looking forward to getting our next guest on. He is one of these reoccurring guests. I think this is only the third person that we've had on this show twice. So Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm well. Glad to be back, Kyle. Michael, how are we doing?
Hey, man, brother.
We are doing good. So first off, how are things with you? How are things going?
I believe pretty similar to what was last time we spoke, with all the quarantine and everything going on. So just busy, man. Just been working a lot from home and trying to see as many of these kids as possible. And all in all, well, helping raise a little girl and 2 pups that we'll talk about later on. So been busy. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing good. No, I know it's definitely been busy. And one thing I do want to get to you before we get out of here is I want to talk about, I don't even think I put it on the rundown, but how scouting has changed for you with everything going on. So first, I mentioned it earlier before the break. You're a grad of UCF, Golden Knights, big time fan there. You worked at Tennessee, so you got a lot invested in this Josh Heupel going to Tennessee. So you texted me when this happened, but get your official thoughts on what this hire is and what's it going to look like.
So as you know, I went to UCF and I coached there first before going to Tennessee. So I had experience at both places. I was completely caught off guard with the hire, but after knowing Danny White was there, like, it all makes so much sense to me. But still, like, you're talking about hiring a guy who has never coached in the SEC, isn't even from the Southeast. Like, I just completely caught me off guard. But to be honest with you, as a proud alumni of UCF, kind of glad he's gone.
That's what I was going to ask you. Kyle, really quickly, Kyle, we both follow the SEC. I was pretty surprised by this hire. And I know, like you said, Steve, Danny White was brought in. It's his guy that he hired at UCF, but not having any really big-time head coaching experience in terms of a big-time conference and bringing him in. Were you surprised, as I was, Kyle, to see Heupel as a guy tapped?
Yeah, nobody was talking about Josh Heupel. I didn't see any reason for him to get a bigger job than UCF because I don't know that he's done a whole lot other than living off the success of the guy before him. I guess maybe 2 guys. I don't know if there's somebody between him and Scott Frost, but I think Scott Frost would have been a better hire. I don't know if you get a guy away from Nebraska, but this one didn't make a whole lot of sense.
So, Steve, what does success look like for Heupel in year one? Because that roster's been kind of depleted with people going to the transfer portal, guys leaving early. They're going to have a lot of work to do. What does success look like for them in year one there in Knoxville?
I mean, the biggest thing is, everybody can talk about win 8 games, win 9 games. But for me, to win 6 games is going to be huge for him and just get bowl eligible. But I think the hardest part of the whole gig his first year is going to be putting together a good recruiting class with all the pending NCAA stuff. Because when I worked in the SEC, if a school had allegations against them, we hammered that home to recruits and parents. And like that's going to be his biggest obstacle. Plus, he's got no recruiting experience in the Southeast. So it's an uphill battle, if you ask me.
Well, I've got to think that anybody recruiting for other schools that are competing against Tennessee, they're going to say, okay, they've got allegations, they've got these sanctions that are potentially coming down. They more or less, we are finding out that they did not do things by the book. They cheated, and they didn't even win. So why even go there, considering they couldn't even win when they cheated? Why even go there? So, well, let me ask you this then. He's got a long way to go, and I know they'll give him a little bit of time to get it done. But
I think he's getting like a 5-year contract is what I heard.
Well, do you think he'll see the end of that?
Honestly, no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against the guy. Actually, my first year scouting, I had Oklahoma, and I met him, got to know him a little bit. I got nothing against the guy. I wish him luck, but that is having spent 3 years there with 2 different head coaches, like that place is hard to win at, especially if you don't have somebody that understands the ins and outs of the SEC or that school alone, because your recruiting base is just bananas. You're not getting many in-state guys from the state of Tennessee. You got to go to South Carolina, North Carolina, which Clemson's held down and not let anybody out. And then what are you going to do? Go down to Georgia and try and pluck guys away from Auburn, Bama, and Georgia? Like, it's just an uphill battle.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you think? Does he turn it around? Is he the guy that gets Vol Nation back to the glory days of T. Martin and Peyton Manning and all those guys?
No. Quite frankly, I think you said a name. I think T. Martin may have been a better hire. I think he understands, all that stuff that Steve was just talking about. All of the hurdles you got to jump to win there in Knoxville, and I don't think they even gave him a look. I don't think Danny White gave him a look, and I don't know why. I know that one of the defensive linemen, I forget who it was, he used to play there in UT, has come out and said whatever he said about it. But I mean, it's not an easy place to win at anymore. It's not the Tennessee of the 60s and 70s or the 90s. You got to go out and you got to be able to fight with Alabama. You got to be able to fight with Georgia. You got to be able to fight with Florida. You got to be able to fight with Clemson.
You got to be able to fight with Kentucky.
I mean, quite frankly, Mark Stoops.
Come on, man.
That sucker is bringing players
Narrow and Mark Stoops.
Like you normally wouldn't get.
No doubt about it. Well, you guys both know it pains me to see the Vols struggling so mightily.
Yeah,
that's why I texted you.
That's right. See them going through so much turmoil. It just breaks my heart. Maybe they'll get through it. Who knows? They do have a fairly decent basketball program. All right, let's shift gears to Super Bowl.
Kentucky doesn't have a basketball program, though.
They don't this year. They sure don't, man. They are playing really poorly this year, but they'll be back in Cal.
Rebuild year.
That's right. Super Bowl 55. We've got the Bucks and the Chiefs. You got the defending Super Bowl champs against the greatest of all time, and Tom Brady and others in Tampa. Tampa gets to host for the first time ever. One of the teams will be hosting the Super Bowl that's playing in the game. So, Steve, just kind of initial overall thoughts on what should be a really fun game next Sunday.
I mean, obviously, you look at the marquee matchup with the 2 quarterbacks, and you're excited about watching those guys going out there. But then you got two really good offensive-minded coaches in Bruce Arians and Andy Reid in that matchup. And there's, for me, it's just I'm excited. Some of the best athletes and players in the entire world coming to play together. Kind of also grew up a Bucks fan, so it's nice to see them return. I remember watching that Super Bowl back when I was in high school, where my current boss was actually playing in John Lynch, and it's exciting. I'm excited for my friends in Kansas City, and I'm excited for some of my friends that work for the Bucks too as well. So it's good for them. It'll be fun. I think it'll be a heck of a game.
Yeah, I do too. You and I are tied for first in our, and we one of us. First, one of us is going to get second, and we basically said, "Hey, let's just one of us just pick one of these teams because it's almost a toss-up, really. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way."
I'm with you. That's why when you messaged me, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, so glad you said that, because it takes that burden off of when kickoff happens of getting back on the app and seeing who picked what and the stress.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Yep. So that'll be good. Kyle, what about you? What are just your initial? I know you. With the Bucks, they're the arch rival or one of the arch rivals of your Saints. What are your thoughts? Just initial thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I know I said this last week. There's a fun storyline in the chance of kind of a passing of the torch moment here.
Sure.
From Brady being the best quarterback of his generation, and now Mahomes. I don't think there's any question he's going to be the guy of his generation. And I know Mahomes beat Brady last year in whatever round that was. I forget.
Man, the Titans knocked out the Pats last year. Don't forget that now.
Whenever it was, Mahomes beat him last year.
Tannehill, man.
Tannehill. Regular season. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. But right here, Super Bowl, Mahomes, Brady, I'm pulling for the Chiefs mostly because I can't stand the Bucks. Being a Saints fan, but I also want to see that, at the end of the game, Brady kind of showing the respect to the young guys and basically going like, this is yours now. This is your league. Go lead it. Go build on what I have done now. I don't know if you're going to get 10 appearances in the Super Bowl. I don't know who's going to do that again.
But is Brady? The question is Brady going to do that after the game's over with and he's celebrating? He's like, hey, let me get one more, and now you go take over.
That's the thing. Like, if Brady wins, then that whole storyline's gone. So
yeah, I was thinking about this on our drive up here to the lake yesterday, and I know that there are going to be some differences here, but I really compare this Super Bowl to Brady's first. You had the Rams, the high power offense, Marshall.
Great show on turf.
The greatest show on turf, that huge offense against the Patriots, who had a good D, and at the time we thought they had a quarterback that was going to manage the game for him and could potentially get him a good win, and he was named Tom Brady. And so I don't know, for some reason I just compared that to that game. And wouldn't it be?
There's a difference this year, Mike. The difference is, the Bucs got a defense, and Mahomes has got that offense in Kansas City rolling. But the offense in Tampa Bay is much better than the offense in New England.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. There is. But I think it would be kind of cool to see, Brady kind of bookend those two teams and have a championship and then the championship. Let's move on in terms of some matchups to watch in the game, or is there some, it seems like there's always a guy that just kind of comes out of nowhere that plays really well in the Super Bowl. So, Steve, I'll pitch it to you first. Any matchups or unsung heroes that you're watching out for?
Yeah, I kind of got two things I want to point out. And first, I'm going to start off with the Bucs and their linebacking core. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. If I guess Levante David popped up on the injury report today with a hamstring. He didn't practice today. So that matchup right there, because they're the two fastest linebackers in the league. They're able to carry the special with Kelsey. They can run with Hill to an extent. Like, those guys can cover a lot of ground. So that's the really good matchup I'm looking for there is how those linebackers can create some, some pressure up front for Mahomes, just because they're going to be able to cover and my second point, the unsung heroes. Kansas City's O-line is really beat up right now. So I'm looking at JPP and Shaq Barrett and those guys and watching them come off the edge and see if they can create some pressure, because you look at how the Chiefs started, how they ended last year, winning the Super Bowl against a team that I would not like to name right now. And then, they had that whole offensive line coming back. Two guys opt out, and they've lost another two this year. So it's just been completely revamped. So I think some unsung heroes are, if the Bucs win, are going to have to be Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett.
Absolutely, Kyle.
I was just going to say, I'm watching that NFC title game with the Packers. I mean, I think those two defensive ends made the difference in the game. I mean, they didn't let Aaron Rodgers get comfortable back there the whole game, and that slowed down that Packer offense that had been really slowed down all year. And the Chiefs have some decent tackles. I mean, Mitchell Schwartz is still there, and Eric Fisher is still there. They're not bad, but
Fisher got hurt.
Who did?
Fisher.
Fisher got hurt, didn't he? Or Fisher got hurt, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, with Fisher out, like, who knows, right? If they can get Mahomes off his spot, and Mahomes is one of the best throwing off the spot and throwing out of rhythm and out of timing. But if they can just get that pressure, just as well as I do, anytime you can pressure a quarterback over and over again, eventually it gets to him.
And how's that turf toe going to show up too? Like, he didn't look like the same guy 2 weeks ago, so we'll see.
Guys, one of the more fun things about the Super Bowl is the prop bets that take place, just the kind of the random stuff that you can place a bet on. One quick story, a lot of the years they do the color of the Gatorade for each team as a prop bet. And there's a famous story when the Giants were in the Super Bowl, I believe it was against the Patriots. Jared Lorenzen, may he rest in peace, backup quarterback at that point in time for the Giants, actually started texting a bunch of his friends. He took a peek at the Gatorade color before the game and started texting a bunch of his friends what the color was. So along those lines, that's one of my favorite prop bets. But Steve, any prop bets that you're looking out for, or just some fun ones that come to mind?
I mean, that was number one on my list, and then coin toss is always good, and then some of the other ones. I'm gonna go with the Mahomes completion over 39.5 yards play, and nice. If I was able to bet, which I'm not allowed to, I would probably take that one. So,
Kyle,
the length of the national anthem, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was always. I don't even know who's singing the national anthem this year, so I
No
wouldn't
idea.
know, but that's one I always tended to kind of find and just time it and say like, hey, let's see if I should have taken the under or over on this one.
Yeah. All right, guys. So when the prop bets are done, the matchups have been completed. Somebody's going to walk away with the Lombardi Trophy next Sunday night. I will pick my pick first. I think the Bucs are going to do it. I think that the Chiefs are a little banged up. I think the Bucs have a little edge in terms of just motivation, and I think they've also got the best that's ever done it. And I think at that point in time, I'm going to go with Brady. So I pick the Bucs to win. I'll say 28-24 in a tightly contested, low-scoring affair, which will surprise a lot of people. Kyle.
Look, you were talking about betting. You could have made a lot of money over the last 20 years if you just bet on Brady in January and February. And as much as it pains me to do this, I think he's getting number
7.
7? My goodness. You can't pick against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Well, I'll go ahead and be the outlier there because I had a front row seat to the last time Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl, and that was last February in my hometown of Miami, where he stole the ring from my grasp. So whatever. Yeah, I can't go against the Chiefs here. I get it. I get what you guys are saying. Brady's the GOAT, all that stuff. He's got weapons. Like, I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup, but there's just something I can't go against a team that torched me right in front of my eyes.
That is completely fair. We've never seen him live and in person, so we can definitely tip our hat to you there. All right, so let's stay with the quarter. We talked a lot about Mahomes and Brady. Let's stay with the quarterbacks. There are a lot of quarterbacks that don't have homes or that will have new homes. We've already seen some of that within the past 24 hours with Jared Goff going to Detroit, sending Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams. Kyle, just kind of really quickly, what else are you looking for in this NFL quarterback carousel that will happen over the next couple of months?
I think the big name is Deshaun Watson, and we're waiting to see where he's headed and if he's headed anywhere. I mean, the Texans don't have to trade him. If you look at the package that the Lions got for Matthew Stafford, they got Jared Goff, who's not a bad quarterback, 2 firsts and a third, I think. Yep. I mean, what could the Texans ask for at that point for a Deshaun Watson? To me, that's kind of the big deal. I'm a Saints fan. I'm in some Saints groups on Facebook, and I got a lot of Saints fans going like, "Oh, we need to go get Deshaun Watson." And like, guys, we got to cut $100 million out of the cap. Like, we're not getting Deshaun Watson. We're hopefully Jameis Winston will turn into something other than a 30 interception guy, because it's not Taysom either. And I don't think Drew's coming back. So, I think Deshaun Watson's the next big one. Sam Darnold might be on the move, maybe. Especially if the Jets think they have something, maybe a Justin Fields or the kid out of BYU. I don't know, but I think Deshaun Watson's the next big name that we got to figure out what's going to happen.
Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be the next shoe to drop, so to speak, and based off of what the Rams traded for Stafford, I mean, that was a king's ransom alone, and everybody around the league knows that Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. I'm just glad Deshaun Watson's not going to the Rams, so I don't have to see him twice a year against my team. Staff, loved playing against Goff. Heck, we were 2-0 against Goff this year, playing with a mash unit with all the injuries we had, and we beat him both times. So, it creates more competition in our division, which is fine. I'm always going to welcome that. But somebody's going to have to give a lot to get Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, or he's just going to have to stand firm and not want to leave at all, and force them to get rid of him. So who knows what's going to happen there. It'll be interesting for sure.
That it will. We'll have a lot of new faces and new places. It seems like going forward, which is always exciting. All right, Steve, you mentioned this when you got on. You got a couple of new puppies there in the house with you, Reggie and what's the second
Frank.
one?
Frank.
That's right, Reggie and Frank. So we've all had kids and we've all gone through that. But how's the puppy life treating you?
It's going good. So we got Reggie about a month ago. And my girlfriend and I had been talking, and because of how I travel and everything, I've always loved having dogs, but I'm gone so much I can't have one at my own house because of my travel schedule. Well, now that my girlfriend and I have been together for a while, it's something kind of we've always been talking about and always wanted a French bulldog. So went ahead and got Reggie, and then it turned into, well, Reggie needs a brother and Reggie needs a friend to play with. And so sure enough, like my parents were over at the house meeting Reggie one day, and like we just on a whim texted the same breeder lady like, hey, you have any more dogs available? She's like, I got one left. Come and see him. So we had already had the names picked out and everything. It's been really good. It's a lot of fun. My anxiety's gone down a lot less. Working from home is a little bit easier because, you just, other than when they're going to the bathroom all over the rugs and whatnot, other than that stuff, like they're.
It's all right. My son does that too. So,
Yeah. No kidding.
True story. It happened yesterday.
Yeah. But no, it's been really good. They've kind of gone back and forth between my house and my girlfriend's house. And I'm actually at my girlfriend's house now. And that's been good. Actually Reggie's named after Reggie Cobb, the famous running back at the University of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. He was one of our scouts and a personal close friend of mine. He passed away 2 years ago, right before the draft. And then so I got to name the first one. And then the second dog, when we were talking through it about getting one, Katie, my girlfriend, had said, I already got the name for the second one. I'm like, well, you can name the second one. I'm like, well, what you going to go with here? And we knew we were going to get a male. She goes, well, I'm going to go with Frank. And I'm like, Frank? She's like, yeah, Frank. I'm like, why are you naming him Frank? She said, because all I hear is these stories about you talking about how Frank Gore's your buddy and how badass he is. So I had to name our dog a badass person. So that's where Frank came from.
Yeah. Nice. And a dog named after Frank Gore, man. I mean, that's not a bad name to take on for sure.
And here's the thing is he's embodied the whole personality of Frank Gore because he is 10 days older than Reggie, and he is half the size of Reggie. But just like Frank Gore, not, smaller guy, not, and he's got this absolute fighter spirit in him, and he will go after Reggie even though he's twice the size of him. I mean, it's nice. It's absolutely perfect. So it's good. It's been really good.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So I told you I wanted to ask you about scouting during COVID. What does that look like? I mean, it's kind of have been completely different.
Yeah. So I haven't been out to California since December of 2019. Wow. And I normally go out there 5 times a year. So we've done everything remotely on Zoom calls. It's how I've become an expert at some of these video chats and whatnot. And we weren't allowed to go into schools at all. Normally in the fall, we'll go in there Monday through Friday from August to December, meet coaches, meet staff, talk about players, watch practice, do all that stuff. We weren't allowed to do any of that stuff. So the NFL had to come out with some rules and say, okay, you guys can actually go to games if the actual college is allowing people in the stands. If they're allowing the public, then you guys can go. So totally different because normally you walk up on these kids and you're, at the same level as them. Whereas now, you should see me at the Tennessee-Alabama game this year. I mean, I got 20 guys on Tennessee and 27 on Alabama, and I got binoculars from the 25th row trying to write body type descriptions that normally I can get because I'm looking face to face with these guys. So it's been difficult, but you know what? It's everybody in the league's dealing with it, so it's not like anybody's at an advantage over somebody else.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, my gosh, we're coming up on a year of this. My hope is when we're talking to you, looking forward to next football season and hopefully a lot of this stuff will be behind us and we can get back to a little bit of a sense of some normalcy. All right. So one thing we're doing a little bit differently with guests going into this year is one thing I've been really wanting to do is just some kind of rapid fire questions to end the segment with a guest. Some dad questions, some other stuff related. So here's your rapid fire. You can be short or you can kind of do however you want to in terms of your answers. But best part of being a dad?
For me, it's waking up when she's at my house and not with my ex-wife, and I'm feeding her breakfast at 6:30 in the morning, getting ready for school on like a Tuesday, and I say, "You want me to turn on something TV?" And she'll look at me and she'll go, "Daddy, is there any football on right now?"
Nice. Just a little single tear falls down.
Yeah. She knows how to get to my heart, so
no doubt about it. All right. So Kyle and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about bedtime stories. My daughter's been asking for them almost every single night. I'm so bad at them. What is your daughter's favorite either song or bedtime story to end the night with?
Well, we don't really do bedtime stories because we'll kind of hang out and sit there and talk. But definitely her favorite song is Post Malone's Circles. Don't ask. That's all my ex-wife.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is so funny.
Yeah. Well, and that and Baby Got Back. Don't ask.
Well, our son's favorite song right now is We Will Rock You. Every time he gets in the car, he's like, "Rock, Daddy, rock, rock, rock."
Good song.
It is. All right. If you were not an NFL scout or working in football, what would you do?
I would probably own a gym. Probably own my own gym. Yeah.
Nice.
Because when I was in college, I went down the business avenue and I was going to do like finance and all that. I took micro and macroeconomics and I was like, this is not for me. So I'd probably have to do something that kept my interest, and I'd probably be owning a gym.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, last one here. If your life was ending a little bit shorter than you planned it to, what would your last words be to your child?
I would say, Grace, Daddy loves you more than anything that he's ever loved in this entire world. Everything's going to be okay, and you're the proud beneficiary of a beautiful NFL 401k.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Don't spend it all at one time.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, good deal. Hey, well, Steve, man, we appreciate you coming on and talking Super Bowl and Heupel, Tennessee, and all that. Man, best of luck with the Niners heading into the off season, and I'm sure we'll touch base at some point in time soon.
Yeah, I'd love to be on, guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right, take care.
All right, see you. Bye.
Right back on Dad's Watching Sports. When we come back, we're talking year one of Dad's Watching Sports, kind of a little in review. We will be right back. Y'all stick with us here on Dad's Watching Sports. We will be right back. Coming up next week on Dad's Watching Sports, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and that can only mean one thing. That's right, it's the 1-year dad-iversary of our show. It's hard to believe, but next week celebrates 1 year of dad life and sports talk. The dads will break down Super Bowl 55, and we'll talk all about year 2 of Dad's Watching Sports. That's next week's at our special time following the end of the Super Bowl. Don't miss it next week on Dad's Watching Sports.
We're listening to Dad's Watching Sports.
Now back to the show. Michael Draper, Kyle Castles on Dad's Watching Sports. Special thanks to Steve Rubio of the San Francisco 49ers for joining us to talk Super Bowl 55, Heupel to Tennessee, dad dog life, everything above and beyond. Kyle, the rapid fire questions, man, that's something I really want to start incorporating with our guests, just to get some of those little bit deeper dad questions. So as we continue that trend over the next, couple of years, give me some good questions, because I'm always looking for some additional questions. But great to have Steve on the show.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best we've had, and I guess that's why I think you said the third guy that we brought back for a second. He's a great guest. I like the rapid fire too. I think that's a cool little way to end it.
That's right. So the multiple guest list for Dad's Watching Sports so far, Chris LeBron, the godfather of Off the Ball Network, the president, CEO, commander-in-chief, Steve Rubio, and then my wife. So a pretty good trifecta there in terms of the repeat guest.
And you better make sure you know who is at the top of that list for you.
Oh, of course. I mean, Steve, right? Man. So we're literally family. So yeah, I got to keep him in. Kyle, we've got our 1-year anniversary show coming up next week.
We do.
Very excited about that. And the only thing that I'm a little bit more excited about is Monkey Knife Fight, because it's the daily fantasy sports gaming website for the casual sports fan. Kyle, you don't even have to be a diehard fan. Casual sports fan. It's simple. It's fun. It's easy to play. The user determines which superstars are competing in that day's events, and you can do all kinds of stuff. So Monkey Night Fights, daily fantasy prop games play similar to the salary cap-based DFS games, but without the algorithms, Kyle. No lineups, and more importantly, no sharks. Algorithms, Kyle, I'm not a numbers guy. I don't do math. There's none of that with this. There are several contests you can choose from, none of which require hours of research or required on competing sites. You can start with a simple for two or go for the highest payouts by selecting an 8 for 8, more or less contest. Get started right now with a 100% instant match bonus up to $50 off by using the promo code Off the Ball. And that is what we call a live read.
You are the man at that.
I appreciate that, man. I really enjoy talking about monkey. What is it? Monkey knife fight.
Obviously, you enjoy talking about it.
I wake up every morning thinking I can't wait to do my monkey knife fight read again this week. It's very exciting. I wish they had like some really awesome like logo or like a monkey going like hiya. That's
what again? What was that?
Hiya. Kind of like a Karate Kid chop wax off. All that fun stuff. All right. So we've got a couple things I wanted to get into before we get into kind of some year one stuff. Really, really good stuff coming up here on Dad's Watching Sports over the next really kind of couple of months. So we've got good friends of yours, Ryan Watson and Jonathan Boren. They are with the Coach's Corner podcast, which is a part of Broadway Sports Media located here in Nashville. They do a couple of different podcasts. I believe Jonathan's one of the main guys over there at Broadway Sports Media, but the Coach's Corner podcast is the one they do together, and they are going to be joining us on a show later on in the year, which I'm very excited to have them on to talk dad life, sports, Broadway Sports Media, all the above.
Yeah, I mean, they're great guys. I actually coached with them quite a few years ago now. Good guys. Boren was actually it was his first coaching gig ever, and so Watson and I kind of tried to give him some pointers and some tips on kind of where to go and how to go about it.
You put him under your wing. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean he's fairly small, so it was not hard to put him under my wing. Actually, me and him, me and Lauren and him, and it's his wife now. I don't think they were married at the time. When Dark Knight Rises came out in theaters, all four of us went and watched Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, and spent the whole night at the theater. I think that was a Thursday night. So yeah, I mean, they're good. They're great dudes. Watson coached at Lambeth University, and my friend Nick.
Yeah.
Watson, I think, actually coached Nick when Nick was at Lambeth. So there's all sorts of connections.
There's just all kinds of stuff. We got the 6 degrees of separation of Dad's Watching Sports going on with that one. So definitely looking forward to having those guys on. I can't remember the exact date, but it is coming up, I believe, in the month of February.
You told me late February.
Also in February, we've got Cole Kubelik from the SEC Network is going to be joining us on the program as well. Really excited about him. He's going to be doing our way too early top 25 with him, talking some SEC football. A couple other guests that we've got kind of tentatively scheduled. Dickie V. Kyle has said, "Hey, baby, after the NCAA tournament, I'm on, baby. Dad's Watching Sports. ATPer."
Oh, this is the first time hearing about it. Are we getting Dick Vitale?
Dickie V. Now, whether it was actually Dickie V or it was his person that answers his emails, it said Dickie V in the email. And so I'm going to believe that Dick Vitale sat at his computer while he was drinking his Pepto-Bismol and typed me out an email. He said, after the basketball season, I am in, baby. And I'm.
Oh, you just pulled us off?
I'm very, very excited about be like a little giddy schoolgirl. Also, Holly Rowe of ESPN. We're going to have her come on. We like to bring on females and moms from time to time. She's one of the best in the business in terms of covering sports, and we're very excited. She will also be coming on some time after the NCAA tournament, after she finishes that as well. And then we also have this guy that I'm really excited about this. Well, 2 more things. There's this podcast called Dad Tired. It's a dad / faith Christian based podcast. I've listened to a couple of the episodes. The host founder / CEO of Dad Tired, Jared Lopes. He is going to come on. He and his wife are about to have their 4th child, which is hard to believe. But after they kind of get resettled, get through maybe the summer months, he's going to come on with us in the early fall. And then we've talked about the Fanhood episode on Sunday, March the 7th, when we're going to roll that out. Eric Simmons, who literally wrote the book on being a sports fan called The Secret Life of Sports Fans. He is going to come on and talk a little bit about the science, Kyle, behind being a sports fan. So, things are busy.
You've been working, and I didn't even realize it.
Hey, man, that's what I do. We hustle, get that side hustle, man. That's what we do. All right, Kyle. So we talked about coming up on year 1 anniversary show next week. I was thinking about it on my drive up here, what would have been some of the good moments, would have been some of the maybe not as good moments / funny moments, just all the kind of different stuff. So I came up with a couple of topics for us to discuss. First thing is your year 1 of Dad's Watching Sports top 5 highlights, the things that you felt like were just awesome, you loved, couldn't get enough of, and I will turn it over to you, sir.
Yeah, so 5-1 again? You good with that?
You do however you want to do it, man.
I'll go 5-1.
This is your part right here.
I think it's more fun to go 5-1. So number 5,
I agree.
And it's probably should be a little higher, but The Wives on Mother's Day. I thought that was a real fun show.
Still one of our last downloaded shows. I think it's other than our premiere shows a year ago next Sunday. That is the second highest downloads that we've had for a show is The Wives Tell All. Yeah,
because our wives are awesome.
Yeah.
The chicken sandwich.
The
chicken sandwich debate, and I pair that also with the burger, the Whataburger, and In-N-Out. And
okay, yeah.
Just those 2 things I thought were a lot of fun. For number 3, the Christmas movie bracket with the Bracketeers, man, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're not following them on Twitter, go follow them on Twitter. They got all kind of cool stuff. Number 2, episode 1. Just starting it out. I thought that was great. And I understand he's not really with us now anymore, but arguing with Matt, number 1, arguing with Matt, that is a lot of fun.
You and Mr. Kirk had some throwdowns for sure, which I'll get into that in my lowlights coming up in a second. So my top 5 moments. Number 5, I've got you go back to episode 45. The Macho Man Todd Titan was one of the best guests that we've ever had. Just the energy he brought, the fact that he in character for majority of it, he was awesome. So that's my number 5. Number 4, go back to episodes 13 and 14. Tin Cup making a run to the final 4 of the sports movies bracket. Never saw that coming and loved every single second of it. Number 3, I've got a tie, actually. Episodes 31 through 34, the cereal bracket. I think that's our best bracket, which I'll get to in a second. That's a tie with our special episode where I interviewed Clark Kellogg for a college basketball preview. That was definitely good. Number 2, I've got episode 14, the Wives Tell All episode. So much fun bringing them on, and they also helped us pick the winner of our movie bracket. And then, Kyle, number 1, you're not going to like this, but my number 1 moment is episode 25 and your vasectomy recap. The fact that you mentioned that there was a clamp involved, I will never forget that. That was the shining moment of this podcast.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. And I still listen. I'll go back and listen to that every once in a while. When you talk about having to pull out the clamp, man.
You want to go back and listen to me talk about my vasectomy?
I do.
That.
There's no doubt about it. All right.
We've known each other for 20 years or something like that.
I think,
5 years. Did go back in your mind, 20 years then. Did you ever think we'd be sitting around talking on a podcast about my vasectomy?
No, but I'm so glad that we do. They're so glad. All right, I'm going to go next. I'll go next for my low lights. So these are things that could have gone maybe a little bit better, or weren't just the highlights of the show. Number 5, I've got when I've had to mute you or Matt when things got a little off the rails one way or the other, and I had to pull out the mute button or the remove button or anything like that. The producer Michael Draper had to take over. Number 4, I'm still a little sad about the short shelf life of the dad debate. I feel like that's one of the better things that we've done, and it was just too much taking on a second show every week. But the dad debate was good stuff. I like the 2 dads, 3 topics, 1 winner thing. Number 3, I'll be honest, the fact that Sesame Street won the TV show bracket that our kids and wives watched, even though they did not officially win their second round matchup, that's definitely a low light on this show. They were tied. I said we'd go to a tiebreaker. We never went to a tiebreaker, and I moved them on anyways. And Sesame Street ended up winning. Number 2, we experienced this in full throttle last week, the technical difficulties of Michael's internet failing us from time to time. I think that just adds to the dynamic and the love of the show. Is you never know week to week. Is my internet going to be working? Is my computer running slow? Is Kyle going to have to start off the show one week by saying, "Are you ready?" is that kind of stuff just going to have to happen? And then number 1, obviously, going 4 months without real sports was tough. We had to do a lot of reaching, but we survived.
Yeah. My literally, I wrote what lowlights. This has just been way too much fun to call anything a low light.
Oh, that's touching, man. I might take a little bit.
I have really enjoyed doing this with you, man. This has been fantastic. But you brought it up, my vasectomy. There's that's the one.
That was the greatest show ever, man. We're gonna, if we ever do a best of that segment is without a doubt making it in. All right, let's move on to, we've done a couple of brackets. So we've had our TV shows our kids and wives like. We had Brian Eldridge join us to knock out that one. I mentioned Sesame Street, kind of a controversial winner there. We had our sports movies bracket. The wives helped us finish that one off, 42-1. The cereal bracket, David Fish helped us finish that one off. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch ended up winning. And then the holiday songs bracket with the Bracketeers, Oh Holy Night. So you got those 4 brackets we've done, Kyle. What's been your favorite? And then do you have a future idea for a bracket that we should break out this year?
Man, probably the best bracket's been the cereal bracket. I mean, that was a lot of fun. Especially when you start sending us boxes of O's to prove your point. I actually ate that whole box. They weren't bad.
No, you dang right they weren't bad. They're fantastic.
But no, it was that's probably been our best bracket. It was a lot of fun. And I think the right cereal one and
of course. Yeah, I think the cereal bracket, we just had a lot of fun with that. We got a lot of fan interaction from that and the sports movies bracket. We got a lot of votes, a lot of fan interaction. A lot of people were really passionate about that. You didn't say a bracket that you would like to see in the future. I'll give you a chance in a second. But mine that I hope we do this year, and maybe we get the Bracketeers to help us, or we figure out a way to kind of combine our efforts here. I would love to see the top probably 16. We could do 32 maybe, but 16 really – dads in sports history. So you think of Earl Woods, you think of Serena and Venus Williams' dad, Dale Curry, LeVar Ball, Archie Manning, just to name a few. The top 16 or 32 dads in sports history, I think, could be a really cool bracket.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool one. The one I put, I like the ones where you start looking historically, what team's been the best. So you start looking at, the best championship team from, pick your league. You want to do the NFL, you want to do the NBA, you want to do Major League Baseball, hockey,
English Premier League soccer. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And whatever. Like, I think those are fun. Those are, and they lead to a lot of different conversations. And I mean, how do you decide between, the 96, 97, 97, 98 Bulls teams or something, if you want to do the NBA, like, or, some of those Laker teams, like where, that kind of stuff I think would be a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. We'll definitely jump in on that. And that gets a lot of fan interaction with that kind of stuff too. All right. Finish us off here. We are embarking on year 2 of Dads Watching Sports. 5 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you want to see happen in year 2 of Dads Watching Sports, Mr. Castles.
Yeah, well, at the very top of my list, I got more guests with name value, and then you come in here and drop Holly Rowe and Dickie V. Like, done. You got it for us.
Capital A, baby.
Man, I'm looking forward to, and this gets a little cheesy, and I apologize, but I'm just looking forward to more fun, just more, quite frankly, like I'm hanging out with my best friend on every Sunday night. Like that's doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
Could be worse.
Yeah. More arguing.
Yeah.
I like it when we disagree because I get to prove that I'm smarter than you, and that's been enjoyable.
Highly debatable.
Number 4, I got a more normal sports schedule. I think things are starting to kind of sort of get back to normal. Maybe we don't have fans in the stands, but at least things are happening when they're supposed to happen, and we're not going to have the Masters be played in November, right?
Yep.
Like that's a good thing. I don't know if you're an American Idol fan, but I enjoy it. So maybe we could get an American Idol segment each week to kind of quickly recap or something.
Ooh, maybe.
Or not, or we don't, and I have to continue to talk about The Bachelor or Bachelorette because my wife.
You can put on. I ask you every week. I send you a text. Don't even lie. This is the truth. You got anything to add to this week? So I better start getting American Idol Sweet 16 coming up this weekend. Yeah, I'll add it on. All right. So my top 5 things. We've talked about this before off the air, and I don't even know how we would do this. For both of our states, but I would love at some point in time this year to incorporate our dads into this somehow. I think that would be really cool, and we're going to make that happen somehow, some way. But I think that would be really cool. Maybe if we have our dads in sports history bracket, maybe we have them kind of help us. Although your dad's going to go Archie Manning.
Oh, it's going to be Archie, and if we ever disagree, he's going to throw a fit and like jump off or something.
That's right. Number 4. We're fairly close, I think, to 200 Twitter followers. So I want us to get to 300 Twitter followers this year. I would love to do some sort of March Madness live special. That's my number 3, like the Thursday, Friday. Maybe we just bring in random guests throughout the day, just jump on for really quick and say, "Oh, what'd you think about the first couple of games?" I mean, that's in my wheelhouse. That's my true love as March Madness. So I'd love to do that. Number 2, I definitely want some more fan interaction, whether it be in guest ideas of who you'd like to see on the show, topic ideas, interacting during the show. We always appreciate TJ and a few of the guys from Off the Ball that jump in throughout the show, but want some more fan interaction or interaction throughout the show. And then my number 1 thing that I hope we do in this second year of Dad's Watching Sports, Kyle, is that we celebrate the end of COVID-19 impacting our lives. That is number 1, and I know you guys, having felt the brunt of that, would absolutely agree. So, all right, man. Well, we've had a good show. We got a 1-year anniversary show coming up next week. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the stuff we've enjoyed over the first year. Yeah, it's been a good show. We'll talk some Super Bowl next week.
Yeah, we'll find out if Brady has passed the torch or not.
That's right. Absolutely will. All right, we'll see you next week. This has been Dad's Watching Sports. Y'all take care. Stay safe. We'll see you then.